All right, we're just we took a little road trip down to Vegas. Andrew got his retirement stuff from the army, so he is retiring from the army. So we went down to have a little fun. So on the way back, we figured we would do some Squatch talk. One of the questions that I've wanted to ask Andrew, because his religion, he's LDS, so he knows a little bit about this stuff with that. And there's a lot of LDS lore with Sasquatch. I don't know if people are aware of that, but there's quite a bit, especially with us being Utah. One of the lore is that Sasquatch is Cain. And I don't know the exact what it was, but he was cursed to roam the world for eternity as a hairy creature. Can you expand on that at all, Andrew? Or is that...
Well, it's a little bit. It's the Bible. So most people that have Bible knowledge are about the Cain story. Cain killed his brother Abel, but he was not ever set for a time frame. That's why the Bible never explains the time frame which he was supposed to roam the earth. Okay. I looked it up so that I wouldn't sound stupid. And it states that he was going to become a fugitive and a wanderer. That's how the Bible puts it.
Okay.
So I think the wanderer is a big part of the lore of him being Sasquatch. It also says Mark, okay, God also gave Cain a mark to protect him from being killed by others.
Oh.
You could take that as the reason we haven't been able to kill the Sasquatch.
Yeah. So, and this wasn't coming from anybody that I knew that was actual. They just studied that stuff. The stuff that I heard is that he was cursed to wander the world as a hairy beast, and that no man could kill him. That's how it was presented to me. So, yeah, that's what I had always heard, and it's always come across me as that was a LDS belief, not really that it was too much. Well, the LDS people, I don't want to say that as a whole, but the people that I've talked to that were LDS, that was their belief, that Cain was.
Yeah, there's definitely some. I don't know if I believe it's him or not, but the fact that he's wandering, the mark can't kill, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good thought. I like that.
I think it's a good theory on where the original, or the, or what's that word?
Origin?
Yeah, origin story could be.
And he does have, I mean, he created it. Cain's descendants, he went on to build a city, had descendants, which further suggests his life was not perpetually confined to wandering.
Where was the city?
I don't know.
Why would you think that they'd come over here and not stay in the biblical area?
Well, I think it's
been thousands of years, so plenty of time to move. But why would they?
The family structure, right? You have descendants. You have some people that want to get out and go other places.
So maybe Cain himself stayed in that area, but his descendants wandered.
Or he was still confined to wandering. Right? We don't really know.
Oh, okay.
So he just, okay, I built family unit here. I'm going to go build them somewhere else. We have family number 2. Right?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay. That makes...
But I wouldn't be... I like the family units, right?
Yeah.
I think that they're very similar to our family units. Some want to stay close together, some want to split apart, some don't want to see their druggy brother anymore.
Dipping into that old peyote. So, well, now that since we're on the family aspect, we got asked, we ran into a couple that talked to us a little bit about Bigfoot. How many do you think are in this area? How many do you think that there's like only a certain amount? Or like if you, so Helpenstein, Andrew and myself, we are full-on believers. Corey is very skeptic, or if not a non-believer at all.
I just want proof.
Yes. Okay.
I just want facts and proof.
Okay. So, if Sasquatch was to be real, let's say, how many do you think would be in, let's say, North America itself?
I'd say roughly their numbers, if it came to be, would be what bears are, because they're predatory and they have large areas. So I don't know what per mile, in Montana per mile a grizzly would be compared to Alaska or whatever, but similar to that. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so, like, if you think if an area can support a bear, it can support a Sasquatch, like food-wise.
Yeah, whatever their roaming circle is.
Yeah, that's kind of been my theory for a long time, is that if a bear can live in that habitat, so can a Sasquatch. Because a lot of people are basing the caloric intake of a Sasquatch off of what a human's caloric intake would be. Because, we need at least 2,000 calories a day at idle, right? Like, if we're not really doing too much, that's...
You're saying that a Sasquatch is 2,000? No?
No. Like, so if you take the average human, that's 2,000 calories a day at idle. So then if you take a Sasquatch, they are, you'd say, double the size of a human. Yeah, so they need, that's what they're basing it off of. But how many calories a day does a bear need? I don't know that answer. But I would assume it's a lot more than a human. So that's what a lot of people are like, oh, there's not enough food in this area to support a Sasquatch or Bigfoot type creature, but yet that area supports bears, black bears, or whatever. So, they get their calories and whatever from a different source. So it's berries, fish, nuts, whatever, and who knows if they can eat things that we can't eat. Like, I don't know. That's just my thought on it. Like Utah itself, if you want to go through the sightings on the sighting records, and let's say each sighting was one Bigfoot. If you go to the BFR website and look, there's like 500 sightings in Utah, I think. So if you want to say that's 500 Bigfoot in Utah, but who's to know that those ain't like oh gosh, brain fart. Ain't more like they ain't seen the same creature twice. So that's my thought on it. So let's see.
If you're talking about the area they roam and what they eat, what is the supposed diet of a Sasquatch?
Yeah, I think on that, the supposed diet of a Sasquatch, I think it would be similar to a human. You got their meats, vegetables, and berries. They can eat the same things that we can. But who knows?
I would imagine they're much more respectful to the animal.
Yeah.
And a lot like Native Americans use the entire animal. I wouldn't be surprised if Sasquatch uses the entire.
Yeah, so I'm guessing there's less than 100 sightings in Utah on the BFR website. But that's only the ones that have been reported. So, me, myself, I've had 2 encounters in Utah, but I think that I've seen the same creature twice. So, that's 1 or 2 creatures. But my theory is I've talked to other people and they've described the same creature that I've seen to me without me even giving their description. So what if, that same creature is moving up and down the Wasatch Front?
It was the same as someone saw a bear, someone saw that same bear. 10 other people saw the same bear.
Yeah. So, and I've had stories of people tell me that they see a family of 5, like they see this group, clan, family, whatever you want to call it, in this area. And then they, but that last time I was told that story of grew up in the clan 15, 20 years ago.
So, as all animals like coincide, like wolves, they'll put trackers on 3 different alpha males or whatever, or females, however that works, and you'll see their circles where they wander, and their circles never go into another pack circle.
Yeah.
So with you gotta look at apex predators or whatever. If you how do I say this? Where they're seeing, where you're thinking there's a Yeti or whatever, or a Sasquatch, what's the how do they coincide with the wolf population in that area? How do they coincide with the bear population? How do they coincide with the mountain lion population? As in the sense of, like, maybe a mountain lion goes, east to west along this trail area, and you'll never see a sighting there because of dangers for it. Or are they commingling with everything? Like, has anyone ever kind of brought that into it?
Oh, I don't know. I never even thought about that. Like, are they avoiding other apex predators?
Yeah.
Saying it's quite possible, but I've also heard stories of the scientists tracking this large tom. Tom is a male cougar, mountain lion. They tracked it and they followed it, and they noticed because normally mountain lions don't kill for fun. This one was killing more than it would eat, and they couldn't figure out why. So they tracked it and they followed it. So it would kill like a deer or whatever, cache it away, and then it would kill another one. But this mountain lion was being followed by wolves. So it would kill
Distance.
for them. Like, it would leave them this, so that way they would eat it, then it would go get its own food. So, and like, wolves are opportunist animals. They go after the weak and the sick. Like, even in like buffalo packs or herd animals, they'll go after the small ones because or they'll just wait for a grizzly to take its kill. Or I think grizzlies do the same thing, honestly.
So how does the Sasquatch fit into that?
These are stories that I've heard in my research. Is that Sasquatch will kill, they'll kill the deer or whatever, and they'll take the whole thing, and they'll eat everything that they possibly can. They eat the soft organs and everything, and then they'll just. And I don't think anybody's people have seen, claim that they have seen the Sasquatch take the whole thing. Can only assume that they're going to use everything that they possibly can. I guess at that point.
I'd just be really curious on how other predators' patterns are and where your sightings are.
Yeah.
To see if that lines up in any way that makes sense.
That's something to look into, I guess.
Yes. We even do it as we go camping, right? I'm not going to go camping. There's a cougar sighting up there. I'm not going to go over there.
Yeah.
Or the, Prince Wildlife Game saying, hey, we got a high concentration of this, that, or whatever, or there's a black bear there. So you stay away from that. So, not that they're getting any reports, obviously, but if they're an animal, they have a sense that they're going to perk their ears up or whatever to not be any trouble or cause any.
But I always, I've thought for a longest time that they travel, they move around there, just to go so they don't overeat.
They're nomadic?
What?
They're nomadic?
Yeah, they're nomadic. So that way they don't overeat an area. They'll eat, what they can in this area. And this just spitball. So a family of 5, or a clan of 5, they'll probably eat an entire deer in one day for what they need for subsistence. And then they'll move on to a different area or whatever. I mean, even like anybody that's deer hunted or hunted big game in Utah, no, it's very difficult because of the amount of people that hunt in Utah. But and the deer move and they migrate, and I think they might follow the deer packs or whatever. And not only they're not only just eating deer, but you got the turkeys. Like in the Bill Canyon area that I was with Andrew a little while back, that's a huge area for turkey. And we got talking about it then. A turkey a day for one Sasquatch, that'd be enough to satiate it. And there's what you said, you could get 25 in your front yard at one time.
Yeah, I've had 20 in the front yard. 25.
So there's a lot of turkeys in that area, and the wild turkeys in any area, like there's a lot. Yeah, and then you got rabbits, jackrabbits. You know, and I don't know. I don't know if a badger's edible. You know, I don't know if
Everything then.
yeah, well, like you know, they got and then well, even on that aspect, like so they get a skunk and they're going to eat a skunk. And a lot of people think that they take that skunk gland, their scent gland, and that's what you get the smell from when you're smelling a Sasquatch. Oh, I smell a skunk, but it's just a Sasquatch. People think that they get that gland out of a skunk and use it, but I don't know how hard it is to catch those animals without traps or you know by hand.
If you live in the woods, I imagine you develop something.
Yeah,
Obviously, they're not dumb.
yeah.
So developing traps is probably something.
Well, and then you know that also comes back to the tools thing. You know how long even primates in the jungles and everything, they use tools to hunt and whatever.
You dance with a stick.
Yeah.
Would you say that they have teeth like a bear, or no big canines like that?
In the stories that I've heard, it's repeated over and over. They have teeth like us. So you know you've got your incisors, you got your canines, and you got your molars.
So not necessarily anything for killing.
No, not really. Like they do their killing by hand. Like when they get a deer, they'll break its neck or hit it with a rock or something similar to that. Or you know they pounce on it, and you know just blunt force trauma pretty much is how they're killing. So, and then they, you know, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, 'cause we were talking about Native Americans. Sasquatch making trades with Native Americans.
Oh yeah,
And have spears and bows. Who knows?
yeah they could. Like 'cause I know.
Is there a lot of stories about Native Americans talking about it, or is this just theory?
So there's stories of it, but the Native Americans are pretty. They keep that stuff close, the stories, because it is the Sasquatch is a huge part of their heritage, and it's also it's like a like their spirit ancestors, and they like to keep close. That they don't. That's part of their heritage. They don't like to talk about, but it's also it's like Big Brother of the forest. It's a protector of the mountains to them. Why not?
Any Native American like skinwalker stories with the Sasquatch? Skinwalker.
You have to define skinwalker for me. Only know of the word. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact definition of a skinwalker. It's
The language.
I understood it was the man that changed.
let's see.
Vice versa. So that I should check it.
So yeah, okay. A skinwalker definition by AI is in Navajo folklore. A skinwalker, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that word, is a powerful, malevolent witch or sorcerer who can transform into animals, particularly predators like wolves or coyotes, to cause harm. But that's shapeshifter in Navajo folklore.
You know, they focus on wolf coyotes.
Yeah. So, and that's where a lot of people think, and I've heard it go both ways, like the dog man. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
So they think it's a skinwalker, you know, it can transform. And the dog man, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that one. I don't know why it's hard for me to wrap my head around that, but Bigfoot, I'm 100% in. It's, I don't know, maybe it's because of the area. So, like, you know, the Native Americans, they were more, like, in the Utah area, they're more in the desert-ish area. That's where they settled, and then they would move to the higher elevations during summer or whatever. I'm not 100% sure on Native American stuff, so don't come at me too hard, I guess. But maybe that's why, because I'm in the mountains area where the Native Americans really didn't settle too much. But
So what's the reason they would protect a Sasquatch over a bear? We see stuff about bears and wolves,
Yeah.
buffalo, and everything. Why would they not? Well,
I think it's their protector.
so it's that higher.
Yeah, it's one of their gods, if you will. Yeah. It's one of their higher spirits that protect them.
Well, do they have any totems about them?
There is some totems of Sasquatch. There's like, but no,
Enough to say that it's a well-known or just a
Yeah.
onesie-twosie?
It's well known, but not in the Utah area. It's more of in the Alaska, the BC, like Washington, Oregon area. There's cave paintings and everything.
Like bears.
Yeah, and I don't remember where these cave paintings are, if it's Washington or Oregon, and the actual how old they are, I'd probably look it up. But there's cave paintings of a Sasquatch type creature. So, and I don't remember exactly where it is. So, like, let me see. Okay, that. Yeah, so it's a so they got little people next to it, and then a big painting of it looks kind of like a hairy creature, if you will. Let me see if I can see where it is. It's Bigfoot rock art. That doesn't really tell me where it is. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it doesn't really say exactly where it's at. Let me see if I can.
Does it resemble a bear?
No, it's on two
Or
legs.
is it, well, bears get up on two legs at some point.
I guess it depends on what you're thinking of it. It could, if you want to go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wondering, yeah, because when you get up in Alaska, you get, grizzlies there are monstrous.
Uh-huh.
You know, we're in the West Coast, I'm assuming they're pretty good. Grizzlies up in Montana are big old beasts, so
Yeah.
at a time of fear or time of encounter, you can see a lot more because how close and how scared you are. There's a beast of a man who was 20 foot tall, and exaggeration. You see it when when people are like, yeah, the guy that came in there, he was 7 foot tall that robbed the convenience store. The guy was 5 foot, but they were so scared they saw height. Something comes to their head. But
Yeah.
just curious. Oh.
Yep. Okay, so it is the hairy man pictographs, if you guys want to look it up more later on. So it is the Tool River Indian Reservation in Tulare County, California. So it's in California, not Oregon or Washington. It's pretty interesting looking. I will try to get some pictures put on so you guys can see it also. But the Indian or the Native American theory or lore about Sasquatch is very interesting too, and how close they keep it to them. I think it's pretty neat, and I would like to talk to some Native Americans about it, but I don't know anybody. So
Maybe someone will reach out to you.
yeah, that'd be cool if you know anybody that has any. But yeah, the Utah, I haven't heard too much in the southern area of Utah for encounter wise. Beaver area, like it's mainly the Wasatch Front and Uinta mountain range.
Where are those located?
The Uintas are around the border of Wyoming, and I do believe it is the only mountain range in the United States that runs east and west.
And then where's the Wasatch?
The Wasatch Front is closer towards the Great Salt Lake. It runs south, north and south, almost parallel with I-15.
Northern Utah. Then?
Yeah, like northern Utah. I don't know how far it goes down, but I know it goes all the way up in towards Idaho, and then once it hits Idaho, it's a different mountain range. It's it's a huge mountain range, and you got there's so many different corridors that they can.
Is that up to the
traverse.
Timpanogos and all that?
Yeah, yeah. That like the you can see.
And Timpanogos is up by like Jackson Hole, that area.
No, Timpanogos is down by like Lehigh.
Oh, that's okay. What's the one up that way?
Up north towards Jackson, like Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I don't know. They're all mountain range. They're
Trying to get an idea of his like training, like where you're talking about.
so
What it connects into, but doesn't connect into.
yeah. The Wasatch Range is a mountain range in the western United States. It runs about 160 miles from the Utah-Idaho border to central Utah.
Gotcha.
So it's it's a good size.
It's the Teton Range.
The Teton.
Yeah.
Teton's up by
Jackson Hole.
Sock.
Gotcha. This,
So yeah, we just figured we would talk a little bit about, see if we can get some conversation going. If you guys have,
As you, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
okay, go ahead.
As you've been talking about Native Americans and the idea of Sasquatch being a protector, I was kind of went back to the Cain idea. Maybe Cain's descendants spread across the world as protectors of the land or protectors of animals or whatever, right? Maybe
Yeah.
that was part of Cain's amends.
No. Okay, I see what you're saying. Now he's doing his best
You know,
to.
he's trying to make up, or is having his descendants try to make up. Or I don't know.
and because he's a beast, a hairy beast, he doesn't have language to tell humans.
Yeah, it makes
So
him
he'll stay with
this ability to speak.
Yes, he stays in
Yeah.
the realm of just animals.
Well, if you want to get on the like we can keep going talking about the language. So I don't know if you've heard of the Sierra sounds. Ron Moorhead hiked up in the Sierras. He was up there deer hunting, or hunting, whatever. And then he starts hearing these, they call it samurai chatter, almost. And it sounds like that, but more.
What's
garbled.
samurai?
Samurai chatter? It's, you ever heard like the Japanese talk, like the fast talking?
Oh, okay.
It sounds like that. So he's got this whole, I don't remember how long it is, but it's a video of something like that. But and then they had a naval linguist here one day, and he just heard it, just kind of, he was helping his son do a school project, and then stumbled across it, and then started listening to it more. He's like, and that's a language. They have their own language. Says he doesn't know what they're saying, but he knows that it's a language.
Because of ups, downs, whatever.
Yeah. And I guess at that point in time, it was the Russians were trying their best to, I don't know exactly what it was, but trying to create fake languages to confuse us. And he's like, this is something completely different. I will try to find that episode of that guy talking, or that guy's, and I'll pin it, and I'll drop it down in the description, so that way anybody wants to go and listen to that, they can listen to that stuff that is going on with the language, and like you can dive so much into everything that's going on. So, but I think you guys got any other questions?
I think so.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, if you guys have anything that you guys want to talk about, if you guys want to talk about Sasquatch, you can get a hold of me at Sasquatch Offroad at yahoo.com, or you can go to the Facebook page and message me there. Sasquatch Off-Road Adventures on Facebook. You can go there and follow me. You can send me in your encounter stories if you want to talk about it. And if you're in the northern Utah area, we can go to your encounter area and check it out if you want. You get a hold of us in those areas. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.